Hello and welcome to a new show of Typical Labs called Kai's Review Corner. Seeing the unfortunate deletion of the original Typical Labs, I thought I could help lend my video editing and gaming knowledge to help get their subscribers back up. This show is more talking about games than playing them, which might turn some people off, but hopefully you stick around to the end. Anyway, I am happy to try and review any game, old or new. Today's game is definitely the former, and is actually one of my favourites, Parappa the Rapper on the PlayStation 1. It's a very weird game. I mean, just look at the back of the box. All you need to know is that it's a music game, but way before the days of Guitar Hero, as it was released at the very end of 1996. Anyway, let's get started. You know, lots of people get nostalgic to that tune, but honestly, I can't relate. Now, the PS2 opening, now that's what I call nostalgia. Even PS3 is reaching the age where you can be nostalgic for it, the early days at least. Like a lot of games from the time period, it starts with a pretty bizarre cutscene which introduces everything.
That baby was really awesome.
Oh yeah.
He can probably beat Superman.
Shut up.
Basically, Parappa here has a huge crush on the flower. Okay.
Next, please.
Water.
Here it is.
Huh, I guess my man Parappa is a hydro homie. When suddenly, who quote-unquote bullies barge in and quote-unquote harass the group, when suddenly...
There's no need to fear. Because Joe Chin is here.
The Chad, Joe Chin, comes in and just starts chatting mad beans. While this is happening, the group leaves, except for Parappa, who is now daydreaming of beating them until they are paralysed. But how does he do this?
Yeah, I know. I gotta believe.
Oh, that's how. He then goes to a dojo where Chop Chop Master Onion, that's his official name by the way, challenges him to a rap battle.
See if you can challenge my rap.
Wait, what? And we get thrown into stage 1 without my consent. This is where the gameplay begins. There's one thing that is simply incredible about this game, which is its soundtrack. I mean, listen to the first bit of the song here.
Test me until you find the things I'll teach ya. Be sure to beat ya. Nevertheless, you get a lesson from teacher.
Now here's how the game works. Well, ignore everything below this bar at the top here. Your teacher, which is the Onion for this stage, will press a button, and once they're done, you repeat it. If you do well, you'll hear this sound. If you messed it up, you'll hear this sound. Mess up twice, and this meter will drop to bad. The song now gets audibly worse, and whatever is going on in the scene will start messing up. Hitting another 2 sections in a row will get it back to good. However, messing up another 2 while in bad will drop you down to awful. The song sounds as bad as you can imagine, and usually something in the scene has gone completely wrong. This is the danger zone, as messing up another 2 lines will result in imminent death, and you being forced to retry the song. You also have to retry the song if you finish it in awful or bad. This can be frustrating, but also allows for clutch situations where you spend most of the song in bad, but nail the last few lines and ultimately pass the stage. But what happens when it reaches cool? Well, only time will tell. This gameplay is incredibly unique, especially for the time, and is a part of what makes this game so damn memorable, along with the banging soundtrack and vivid paper flat art style. Anyway, stage 1 is fairly easy and serves as a taste of things to come.
Good job, Parappa. You can go on to the next stage now.
Huh, nice fourth wall break. On to stage 2, as he suggests. But remember this man's face. He may appear elsewhere. We get another cutscene. In this one, the group are casually just enjoying the day at the donut shop, when yet again, the Chad Joe Chin appears with his
Super Stretch Limo 900.
The girls sit in the front, and Parappa and PJ are forced in the back to suffer, when suddenly Chin goes in reverse and commits vehicular manslaughter. Parappa now dreams of driving a car, so he goes to the local driving school, and yes, you guessed it.
Try this rap.
Once again, we have another dangerously catchy tune, this time about learning to drive, which apparently is just accelerating,
Step on the gas. Step on the gas. Step gas.
braking,
Step on the brake. Step on the brake.
indicating,
Check and turn the signals to the right. Check, turn, signal, turn.
and turning.
Now turn to the right. Now turn to the left.
You might have to retry this stage a couple of times, but overall it's not that difficult. Driver's license in hand, Parappa gets his friends and goes driving with his eyes closed and miraculously cheats death on the M5. That is, until he daydreams at the wheel. I really do have to hand it to modern car engineering. I mean, the car is intact after a head-on collision with a truck at 60 miles an hour and only broke after hitting the ground in its return from space. And on top of all of this, all four in the car survived this crash without a scratch. Well, we need to pay the debts for Parappa's terrible driving, and so we go on to stage 3. This one isn't as catchy as the last two, but it's still fantastic. Some of the lyrics are questionable though, to say the very least. Okay. Okay. Wait, what? How? You know what, never mind. It fits well. After selling enough questionable items, we paid for the car and go on to stage 4.
Oh, you will help me.
You got that right, teacher. Thanks a lot.
Sunny's birthday is coming up soon. After playing a rigged game of Jonkin, as if the game wasn't already obvious it's Japanese, Parappa must go and acquire the birthday cake. He buys the cheapest cake, probably from that new car, when Joe Chin strikes back for the 4th time so far. He begins to chat mad beans again about the cake he has for Sunny for far too long. When of course, he pushes him over, ruining the cake, and legs it. One absolute shad. Well, he needs a cake.
Parappa! What do you expect to do without a cake? A birthday party without a cake is like a dance floor without me. Do you understand that?
So he bakes one with the aid of a cooking show.
The cooking chicken show. Today's dish will
Wait,
be
seafood cake?
guaranteed to catch
Is
your
that a
eye.
thing? Welcome to stage 4, the hardest song in the game, arguably. In fact, here's how many times I had to restart the song on my first playthrough, simultaneously. This song is definitely one of the best in the game, minus the frustration from the extremely unfair hit detection in this song in particular.
Crack the egg into the bowl.
Crack the egg into the bowl.
M-I-X the flour into the bowl.
M-I-X the flour into the bowl.
Butter joins the bowl.
Butter joins the bowl.
You're making us a cake that you've never seen before.
Make us a cake that you've never seen before.
Seafood cake comes just like the riddle.
Seafood comes just like a riddle.
And with that, we have the cake and are on to the second to last stage.
Hey, that wasn't so hard, was it?
No problem. But how'd you get out the TV?
Parappa enjoys Sunny's birthday party and eats a lot of cake. But do you remember what kind of cake it was? Yep, seafood cake. Do you know what that does to your intestines? Nukes them, apparently.
No, not now. I have to go to the bathroom.
Yep, the plot to this stage is that he needs the toilet. The gas station has one. But
Excuse me, this is an emergency. I need to go right now.
So do we.
Oh my, now what? What can we do?
Yeah, I know.
I know.
Let's rap for it. That's a good idea.
Hurry up.
Words cannot express how disappointed I am right now. Boss rush time.
It's all yours.
Ah, this is life.
That was probably the best song in the game. After the toilet incident, it's the last stage of the game. The cutscene for this is a montage with sappy music. Unfortunately, this stage and the ending is quite forgettable, so I'm just going to skip over it if you don't mind and jump to the conclusion. In conclusion, Parappa the Rapper is a flawed, difficult, short, but at the end of the day, incredibly memorable game. Now, you might not particularly care about playing this game, because on eBay this game goes for steep prices, and is still very short. That's where the PSP version comes in. The PSP version goes for much cheaper and adds remixes of songs along with updated visuals and a 16:9 aspect ratio. Now, you might not have a PSP, but if you have an Android phone or a PC/Mac, you can probably comfortably emulate the original PS1 version or PSP version if you can Google a link for the relevant ISO. Well, if you've done your homework, you might realise that there's a PS4 version of this game. Well, the initial reviews compared it to the PSP port, but I don't think anyone expected it to literally be the PSP port being emulated to run at upscaled 4K. But wait, the video's not over yet. Time to turn to my friend Barry for a 60-second review of what he thought of the game.
Parappa the Rapper's the kind of game when you play when you're stoned out your fucking head on cocaine, your nose bleeding everywhere all over the floor. I mean, look at it. It's a fucking dog repeating an onion's words and somehow learning karate from it in 3 minutes. I mean, it looks like a kid's game with the colourful visuals and all. But the game kicked me fucking arse listening halfway in with that fucking chicken making seafood cake. What? You daft cull. I mean, it's alright, I guess. It was pretty fun, but it lasted about as long as a Mr. Kipling Angel Slice. And those are pretty fucking short, but so is life really, so it's okay. I'd give it a 7.5 Clive Lungs out of 10. Oh, and you wanna know what that twat said about cool mode? This.
Hi, I'd like to thank you so much for sticking around to the very end of the video. If you want more content from me, see my channel, Pissel Broth, in the description, and hopefully I'm allowed to make more of these reviews. I'm going to be doing a straw poll where you can decide what game you'd like me to review next. We'll go through each one of these one by one until they've all depleted, and then I'll come up with 4 more games that I'd like to review. So the games that are available for voting are ToeJam&Earl Back in the Groove, and if you pick that, I'll be taking a quick look at the original ToeJam&Earl on the Mega Drive. Jammer Lammy, which is basically the sequel to Parappa the Rapper. Call of Duty World at War, one of my favourite games, introduced the zombies mode that we all know and love. And for the memes, Wallace and Gromit's Grand Adventures by Telltale Games. Yeah, that'll be fun. There'll be a link to vote in the description. So yeah, once again, thank you so much for watching to the very end of the video. Make sure to subscribe to both Typical Labs and me, Piss or Broth, only if you want. And God knows what the next game will be.